That helps also give them some encouragement.
Yeah, we all feel like we're in kindergarten, huh? We are blessed to have players that can step in at this early stage of their career and handle not only the pressure of the game, but the pressure of the preparation. That's usually what eliminates a lot of players early, is that the preparation part of it is so intense that by the time they get to the game, they have a hard time focusing. And these kids have done a great job with that, and certainly Darian has as well.
How well did Darian play in the last game? That's who I'm going to try to wrap up.
Yeah, well, I think how well he played would be relative to his circumstance, and relative to his circumstance, he played extremely well. I've had one player in 30-something years as a true freshman that I've started in the offensive line, him being the second. And the first one crashed and burned, so I was very pleased to see that we got through the game and to see how he was on the sideline in between series, how he handled himself when things didn't go well. All of those were encouraging signs to me that he's on the right track to really being a good player.
What does crash and burn mean?
It means that after 11 plays we had to take him out and put someone else in, that he couldn't get from the huddle to the line of scrimmage with any kind of efficiency. So we had to make a change, and certainly we didn't have that problem with Darian.
Where I guess you don't want to say who this was, but where was this?
At Arkansas.
At Arkansas.
So you continue to see promise from the freshmen, it's like especially through this week. Are they showing a consistency, like Clemens and Darian and everybody? Like they're still.
Yeah, I think they still have got youthful enthusiasm, and what's happening to them hasn't really set in yet.
Good.
What generally happens to them is that as time goes on, the physical wear and tear starts to mount up, and the mental wear and tear starts to mount up. But I've been so encouraged that these guys came in wanting to play and prepared themselves, and all of a sudden, football is a great game for opportunity, and all of a sudden an opportunity presented itself, and the guys that are ready reach out and grab that opportunity, and that's what he did.
He's a bright, intelligent guy. I mean, that comes through. It's obvious. How much does that help or hurt as a football player?
Well, I think it's vital in the offensive line that those guys can think, assimilate information, can understand what they look at, and also can take what I tell them in terms of adjustments and duplicate that on the field. And it requires a tremendous amount of mental toughness as well as mental capacity. And the only way that he's been able to step in there and play is because of his his ability to understand what's going on. And he does that. He's an intelligent player. He's a physical player. And, oh, by the way, he's athletic enough to be able to jump in there and play against some of the guys that we play against.
It was suggested to me that playing next to Larry is a helpful thing for him. I don't know anything about playing offensive line. Is there some truth to that?
I think doing anything next to Larry would be helpful unless you were trying to eat. So I would say yes, that would be a very good thing.
I've heard from Morgan and from Joker also, like can you sense any kind of pressure that the players may be feeling, especially with this being an in-state game, big rival, Louisville? Do they feel the added pressure? Do they feel the pressure that, pretty much the Louisville coach has put on by saying that, they may not be good enough to beat, Kentucky?
Well, I'm pretty sure we're not listening much to what Louisville has to say.
Okay, good.
I don't interpret any of that as pressure. I interpret that as the real excitement and intensity of a big-time rivalry game, and that's, to me, that's one of the really cool things about playing college football and coaching college football, is being a part of these rivalry games that mean so much to everyone. And so this one certainly means as much as any to all of us, and so our preparation is intense, but our excitement level is intense as well.
Good.
I thought you would interpret that as bullshit.
Well, it seems that some things I say make it into the paper, so I'm very careful to choose my words.
You guys were sort of a perceived strength going into this season. Louisville's defensive line the same. Is it kind of easy to motivate your guys in terms of that challenge this week to go against that group and maybe the toughest defensive line you guys have faced to this point?
Well, I think as time goes on, that will start to become a factor for us as we get closer and closer to the game. And in the early part of the week, we're concerned about our preparation, we're concerned about scheme, we're concerned about the cohesiveness of what we're doing. But certainly as time gets closer to the game, we start turning our focus more to the rivalry and the intensity of the guys that we're going against.
Being on both sides of this, what is it about the running game you think that makes? Is it because it's a rivalry that the running game is an attitude thing, or what is it, you think? Is it just coincidence?
Well, I mean, I've not been a part of very many football games that the running game hasn't been a huge part of the success or failure of whoever's involved in the teams. And so when you are in big time games, generally the team that can run the football is the team that's being the most physical, the team that can control down and distance, and generally can keep your defense off the field. And so all those things add up to a successful day.
I want to talk to you this summer about Darian Miller. We talked about his